by our friends at Lake Michigan College, as well as AEP Cook Nuclear Plant and Berrien Springs Public Schools. I'm excited to have Tim Dunaj joining us because we've talked at the beginning of this Robotics Roundup season to talk about how these robotics teams are doing, what they're working on, and all that. But most recently, we had some really great competitions within our community, so it was really cool to see. And I know you play a pivotal role in a lot of these competitions. And I saw at both of the events just kind of running around doing all kinds of stuff because you were very, very busy. But great to have you. And tell me about what the past few weeks have been for you and what they've been like, because these have been pretty hectic, sure.
In a word, chaos, but
yeah.
But it's a welcome chaos. No, actually, thanks for having me, Johnny. We kicked off the season early back in January, and the teams all learned about what the game was, and then they set off to building a robot to tackle the game goals, whatever they may be, and every team decides what they want to do. So the last 2 weeks we saw different teams' perspectives on what they felt their robot would want to be. And so at the competition level, some, chose to attack different portions of the game and focus on different things. And there may be teams that their end goal is towards the end of the season to achieve some task, but they had to get the ones done now that they could do. So the competition season in Michigan, we have 5 weeks of competition that lead up to the state championship in Saginaw Valley. And so we've completed 2. Berrien Springs hosted, the Greengineers hosted their first event. It was a week 1 event. So a rookie team hosting a week 1 event when all chaos can happen. And the team and the event came on. I mean, they did a fabulous job of pulling together the whole event. We had 34 teams from across the state of Michigan there. At that event, I served as a judge. So normally I'm a judge advisor, but we have somebody else who took on that judge advisor role. And we had a room full of rookie judges. I think there was probably 4 or 5 of us who had experience in first before. The remainder of those 20 people were people who were concerned because they were rookie judges, but they did a fabulous job of meeting these teams and talking to them. And once you tell a judge, it's like, look, once you talk to these kids, you're just going to be hooked. I know 3 or 4 people that have already signed up for other events and were just totally engaged by the students. The students were incredible, which they always are. We had area teams, Team Lancebot, in their 10 years of existence, I want to say roughly, this is the first time that they have ever won a competition. They've won several awards, but this is the first time that they've been a part of a winning alliance. So they were the captain for an alliance where you pick your permanent members, and they were a captive alliance, and it went, it's a best of 3 match in the finals. They lost the first match and then came back and won the last 2 matches. So you can imagine kind of the noise level you get in any building for any event when it goes to 2 of 3. And so that was great. And it was for me personally, it was just fun to sit back and watch a team that's filled with a lot of good friends that had that experience. There was plenty of great things that were happening there. And then also there was just a couple of other teams that jumped out that, again, the Greengineers team did a fabulous job hosting that event. And I believe they may have been recognized with an award, which wasn't because they hosted the event, but it was on top of everything else that they were doing. They still managed to pull together as a team and present themselves well during interview processes.
Yeah, it's a really cool sight to see the competitions, but to see the crowd get pumped up. It's not only fun to watch, and I'm sure the kids that are participating in robotics really love it, but I think it's also, too, a great way to inspire the young kids that might be wanting to get into robotics or STEM and STEAM education to see this for themselves. And it's a really awesome sight. So that was really great in Berrien Springs. But then
I don't mean to interrupt. I want to add one more thing too.
Yeah.
So Berrien Springs being a first-time event, they were looking for additional sponsors, a title sponsor. When we get to talk about St. Joe, we've got KitchenAid or Whirlpool that's been a sponsor. But Edgewater Automation locally, who does business in St. Joe and Buchanan, and that's their home base, and down in South Carolina, they stepped up and they were a sponsor for the event, but more than just a sponsor in name only. They had a display there. They were engaged with the students, and they put together a 5 or 6 minute video, which was really one of the reasons that I love being involved with FIRST. Is it showed alumni of FIRST robotics teams, area FIRST robotics teams, that have gone on to find their career path, some through apprenticeship, some through just on-the-job training. And probably the most remarkable thing out of that is I have literally one of the students, not even student now, he's 10 years past. He lives around the corner from me. He's living in a house at a younger age than I know I did, that he owns, because he came out of the experience with zero debt. He found a pathway to a career, and Edgewater was there to kind of highlight that. And that was probably one of the most impactful things to see, was their video, and then their interaction. They had volunteers all throughout the building in the judging roles and other roles, but that was really powerful.
That is really powerful to see, and really a true testament to why it's so cool to be involved in this FIRST robotics competitions and these teams, because you learn a skill that then could take you on to a lifelong career, which is awesome. So we're talking with Tim Dunaj. We had 2 great robotics competitions in our area. So then you went on to St. Joe and at another great event there. That's been a home base for robotics competition for a number of years, right?
Yeah. So 2013 was the first year that the competition moved up there. It was 2 years down in Niles at Niles High School, and then we moved up to St. Joseph High School. And since 2014, I've been the judge advisor at that event. So my role at that event is different. As a judge, you have input, you go out and do the interviews. As a judge advisor, I just kind of steer the ship, make sure interviews are getting done, and help judges, kind of guide them through the process as they decide the winners of 16 awards. And we gave out 16 awards. 2 of those were specifically for rookie teams. And we had 7 rookie teams at our event at St. Joe. Conversely, we had 3 rookie teams down in Berrien Springs. The 7 rookie teams that were there presented themselves very well. And by presented, it was, you go to the pits, you have an interview, and you have one of 2 things that can happen in that pit interview. You can have the students not aware of what's going to happen, and they just kind of shrink back. Yeah. And you have students that just step up and engage. And the feedback I got from all the judges was all 7 teams were fully engaged and not overwhelmed by the moment, and enjoyed it. So we had a rookie all-star team, which is the team out of Water Elite Pantronics, I want to say is the name. I don't ever want to offend the team by saying the wrong name, but they were in Berrien Springs. They won a Rookie Inspiration Award, and then they won a Rookie All-Star Award at St. Joe. The Rookie All-Star Award gets them a ticket to go to the state competition and interview for that position, to potentially go on to world. Their robot doesn't automatically qualify. They need to qualify that through competition. But that's still a remarkable thing for a team that back in January was just learning, what is this thing all about?
Yeah, and we had a chance to talk to them. I had a chance to talk to them a couple of weeks ago, and it's really cool to see what's gonna. I see really awesome things happening very soon for that team.
Yeah, definitely. As far as the rest of the competition went, competition itself was great. You get to see different robots, different strategies. For me, I get so engaged in the judging process and interviewing and talking to teams, and then it's the reward at the end of the day on Saturday when we hand out awards. Locally, the Cassopolis Robo Rangers won a Gracious Professionalism Award, which sounds exactly like it is. Yeah. And so you always love to see a team that does really well. I don't know how their robot performed, but their character came through during interviews. A couple other teams too. Creativity Award for their machine was Matawan, the Wired Cats. 6588 team, 6580 out. Counter Torque Robotics out of Lawton. Very small team. They did well on the floor, and they won an award, which was you could see it was impactful to them. Their coach has been a longtime mentor, and I don't know that they've won many awards, but this one meant a lot for them. Team Lancebot did not win this event, but they were a finalist for the event, and that was a unique alliance. The final alliance was Team Lancebot, the Green Engineers, so Lakeshore, Berrien Springs, and then Megahertz out of Buchanan. So it was a Sunset Coast Alliance team that pulled together, and they made it to the finals, put up a good challenge, but there was another alliance that did a little better than them. But Team Lancebot won a sustainability award, which is basically how can you keep your team going as a mini business, and then how the students understand what that is and they can advocate for what their team does. The Green Engineers won an Engineering Inspiration Award, which guarantees their team a trip to go interview for the Engineering Inspiration Award at state. Again, their robot has to qualify individually. Okay. And then probably the top one, because there was a lot of hard work done by a lot of volunteers. Everybody who volunteers does an amazing job. And the group pulling that together was the Average Joes, specifically Morgan Brunsting is a volunteer coordinator who's an alumni of the Average Joes. And then Brett Olison is the event coordinator. And their team won the first Impact Award, which is the highest award that you can win at any event. Automatically qualifies them and their robot to go compete at state competition. And that award is based upon what have they done in the community to continue to grow STEM, the awareness for STEM, grow their program. Is it sustainable? It's all the awards kind of wrapped into one. You could easily see that team winning any of the awards. So again, that's the first time that they've ever won that award. So it's impactful, not only because it's the first Impact Award, but you see the emotion and what it means to the team.
Absolutely. And real quick, then now where do these teams go? Now we have state competition. When's that happening? And then where do they go from there?
So state competition will be the very first weekend in April. So we have 3 weeks of competitions that could be anywhere from the West Michigan event is Grand Valley. I know some of the teams are going up to Kentwood. There are 5 competitions happening throughout the state of Michigan every weekend between now and the championship, when the championship will be basically 4 fields of play in one. And then the goal from there is to advance from state competition to Houston, which is the 17th through the 20th of April.
Wonderful. Looking forward to talking to more of the great teams that are in our area, but also some great volunteers that make these events go, because they couldn't happen without great volunteers. So we'll definitely have a chat with some of those in the future as well on Robotics Roundup. But Tim, thank you for all the great work that you're doing, and I'm sure we'll catch up again as we have more competitions that these teams will be competing in. But thank you so much for taking some time.
Thank you. And thank you to WSJM for covering it, being at both events. I saw you guys running around too. As I was running one way, you guys are running the other. And we really appreciate the coverage because it gets the word out there about a great group of kids.
And Robotics Roundup, if you want to learn more and check out more interviews as well, you can check it out at WSJM.com. Robotics Roundup brought to you by our friends at Lake Michigan College, AEP and Cook Nuclear Plant, as well as Berrien Springs Public.